Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Players' Championship edition of Green on the Greens. Myself and Cody Williams. And Cody, last week, I predicted, and I think you predicted as well, that that the Arnold Palmer Invitational was finally going to have the big gun show out, and we certainly saw that. And we also said if Scotty Scheffler ever finds a putter, he's going to run away with these events, and that's certainly what happened. What, won by 5 strokes, Scotty Scheffler?
Yeah, that mallet putter working a little bit of magic for him.
Yeah, and it's like one guy above the rest when betting markets start to release winner without odds, which I notice at least BetMGM for this week's Players Championship, they have a market that is the winner without Scotty Scheffler, which might be the way to bet on the players because there is a chance Scotty Scheffler just runs away with it again.
Yeah, I mean, is he still plus 550? Like, I mean, it's a like Tiger Woods type number, like in his prime.
Yeah. Well, I mean, quite literally, and we've brought this up before, Scotty Scheffler's ball striking numbers are literally Tiger Woods-esque in his prime. Is just his putter was lacking. And then this past week, not only did he have like an average tournament with putting, like I think he gained over a stroke per round putting, or 1.3 strokes gained puttings, and he ran away with it. So number one ranked golfer in the world for a reason, my friends. Let's recap last week's action. Cody, do you want to recap your picks?
Do I ever on this show? Absolutely not, but I will anyway. Sammy Valimaki for a top 20 completely missed because he decided to go 5 over on his last 4 holes. That was great. Jake Knapp decided to shoot a 12 on the 6th hole on Saturday, so that was a lot of fun for a top 10. Ludwig Aubert, he just didn't play well. Nothing, just didn't play poorly, didn't play well. Victor Hovland looked like he was going to make a run after a strong Friday and then kind of faded on the weekend. And then, I'll let you handle the closest to the win since you're pulling away in that one as well.
Yeah, my picks, I think either back-to-back winning weeks or it might have even been 3 straight winning weeks for me. Either 2 or 3 came to an end this week. I did hit one winner. I got Corey Connors top 20, only plus 140 odds though. He finished, I think it was T18. Min-Woo Lee, top 10, looked great for a while. He melted down. Sam Burns really melted down on Sunday for a top 5. And then Xander Schauffele. What am I doing, dude? Like, I swore off him. I was never going to bet on Xander Schauffele again. I even said in the show that this was a bad idea, but I did it anyways. And immediately, bogey the first hole, never got any better. What am I doing, Cody? Why would I do that to myself again?
I mean, there's only 3-4 weeks until Augusta when you're 100% going to be betting him again.
100% don't lie to me. 100% betting on Xander at the Masters. 100%. Buffalo Dan, outright number 2 on the year with Scotty, thanks to DK Boost adding to plus 300. Nice hit, Buffalo Dan. Good hit there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we even said that it might be that we thought it was going to be a week where the big guns ran away with it, and neither of us, for some reason, bet on Scotty. So there you go. Actually, I did do the top 10. I've been rolling over. That's now, I think, 3 events that I've rolled over. So I had 6. I came away with $62 on Scheffler after rolling it over 3 different events. I've now rolled it over in a top 10 this week at the Players, which gets me, I think, over a little over 100. The rolling over doesn't become profitable very quick when he's minus 180 to do it every week.
Yeah, it's a little tough when he's playing as well as he is and the betting markets know it.
Yes. Yeah, it was a little bit better when he was like plus money to finish top 10 last season. Mm-hmm. Just a quick recap for the other events. Puerto Rico Open, it was
Bryce Garnett.
Martin Traynor missed the cut. I think Brandon Wu made the cut, but he wasn't really in contention for you.
Wasn't in contention, no. It was I believe it was T40 is what he finished up.
And LPGA, listen, it's golf. Sometimes a golfer, and even in women's golf, where I think there is a betting edge to be had, sometimes a golfer out of nowhere will win an event. And it was Bailey Tardy to win the Blue Bay. Yeah. Blue Bay. I think she's like the 168th ranked women's golfer in the world. I don't know what her odds were, but they must have been at least 200 to 1.
Astronomical.
Played in one event this year as a drive-on championship, and she missed the cut by a mile. Or there might not have even been a cut in that event, but she played terrible. And then just all of a sudden, her irons caught fire, and she won this event. So I was never in a million years looking at Bailey Tardy to win. Sometimes that happens.
Oh yeah, for recapping picks, my college basketball pick did hit.
Fact.
So there we go. You're welcome, Dan.
Yeah, Scotty top 10 parlayed with Florida college basketball last week. Winner, chicken dinner.
There we go. Love to see it.
we are ready to move on to the Players' Championship, one of my favorite events of the year. The fifth. Let me ask you this: can we still call it the fifth major when there's no live players here because of the whole live thing? Can we still call it the fifth major? I don't think we can.
I don't think we can either, because like the argument for it was literally all of the best players in the world used to show up to play this event. Like this was a major type field, just a little bit larger than the Masters and things like that. But it was a major type field. Now, when you don't have John Rahm, when you don't have Dustin Johnson, when you don't have Cam Smith, when you don't have these guys in there, I really don't think it has the qualifications to be a major. But it is one. I mean, it's a great golf course. Like I love this course. I love this tournament. It's still one of the best weeks on the PGA Tour, bar none.
I mean, 17th hole, the Island Green is obviously one of the most iconic holes in all of golf as well. So yeah, it's still, I'm still looking forward to it, but these are one of the weeks where I'm missing, the Cam Smiths, the John Rahms of the world, but we'll see them in a few weeks here at the Masters in about a month. Players Championship. What are we looking at in terms of key stats?
So obviously, like every week, I feel like, but approach is very critical just because the approach play, the thing about TPC Sawgrass, it is not the longest course. It's a very positional course. And so driving accuracy and approach and kind of marrying those two things are two big things that I'm really looking for this week.
Yeah, I agree. I look at past history quite a bit for TPC Sawgrass as well. Now, one trend, now there could be an argument if there's a reason for this or if it's just a completely random trend, but it's like something like 18 of the last 20 winners the past 20 years have gone AM. I think it's AM PM for the tee times, I think.
Okay.
Tee off early on Thursday, tee off late on Friday. I'll verify that here when you're giving out your first pick. But don't know. I know one year, a couple years been because of weather, but I think for the most part it is luck. But if you're looking for any kind of edge, might be one thing you might want to look at as well. All right.
One more question for you real quick, if you don't mind. Sure. About course history. So one of the things I look at with course history is not necessarily like you always play well here at the Players, because there frankly aren't a lot of players who play well, or aren't a lot of golfers who play well at the Players every single year. But I kind of look for guys who have had like good weeks, good history here previously, but not necessarily consistency.
Yes, that is a great point. Yeah, because basically every single golfer has had at least like one bad event here. So you're not going to find anyone who's consistent and just like post a top 10 every single time. But let's look for some guys who have at least had some strong finishes for sure. All right. You ready to get into the picks?
Let's do it.
Your top 20 for the Players Championship.
Yeah, so top 20, not a whole lot of course history. He's played it once and missed the cut last year, but that's Andrew Novak, and that's at plus 500. But I absolutely love the way this guy's playing. You look at his last three starts this year, T8, T8, and T9, and that was at Phoenix, Mexico, and Cognizant, which outside of Mexico, those are pretty decent fields, even if they weren't signature events. But he's doing it with his ball striking, 1.23 strokes gained ball striking over his last 16 rounds. He's also been positive around the green and positive with the putter, so he's just playing really well. Also a really accurate driver of the golf ball. I believe he's hitting something close to 70% of his fairways recently, and he's just playing with a ton of confidence. Like he's just a guy who's been popping up on these leaderboards and staying there even if he's not continuing to win. With the little bit increase in strength of field and the size of the field at 144, I'm not going to be as aggressive to say he gets his fourth top 10 in a row, but at these odds for a top 20, I really like it.
Yep. Andrew Novak, I do like that pick quite a bit. I'm going a little bit chalky with my top 20 pick this week. Worked out for me well last week with Corey Connor, so I'm going to try to stick to that same strategy because, like I said, going into last week, I think the top golfers are going to start showing up, and I think that's not just last week. I think for the next month or so, I personally think the time to like just take darts at long shots is kind of coming to an end. So my top 20 picks, still plus money though, plus 150 on Wyndham Clark. I still don't think the betting market is accurately reflecting how good this guy is. I hit him earlier in the season at Pebble Beach at 80-1, finished second place last week, gained strokes in all four areas last week, still looked very good. Did he cheat on the 18th hole? I'll leave that up for the viewers to decide. Also, I have a soft spot. I did interview him earlier today. That interview will come out next week. So I have a soft spot for Wyndham this week. But we're talking about, a signature event last week. He finished second. Already has a win at Pebble Beach this year where he shot a 60 at Pebble Beach, set the course record. He's a defending U.S. Open champion. But I still don't think the odds accurately reflect how good he is. Because if you look at the odds list, he's still, 15th ish to win this week. I'm not going to go down and count all these names, but I think it's something like 15th to win this week. Same odds as Shane Lowry. Like, I think Wyndham Clark's better than Shane Lowry at this point. So a little bit chalky at just plus 150 to finish in the top 20, but that's what I'm going to do.
No, absolutely. I think you're spot on with your assessment there. I think the odds market is still looking at that win at the U.S. Open as like a flash in the pan win. And I think he's kind of proven pretty consistently that it's not a flash in the pan.
Yeah, exactly. Win already this season at Pebble Beach, solo second last week. Wyndham Clark is the real deal, and I think we need to start looking at him as such. Might be a sneaky Masters pick too, to be honest.
I kind of like that. Yeah, a little bit.
First time playing the Masters though, which is a little bit of concern, but
hey, maybe look if the odds market still doesn't catch up, maybe look for like a top 10 or something like that, because it feels like he's a guy who could really, make his name for himself quick at Augusta.
Yeah, for sure. All right, top 10. Now I will let the people know you had someone else in here for the top 10. I dibs that golfer this week though, so you had to go a different direction. But where are you going for top 10?
Yeah, I'm totally fine with it. You've conceded a couple picks when we've tried to sort this out before, but I'm going with maybe the new Green on the Greens favorite, Kashmir Keith Mitchell. I feel like he's been in a lot of pick shows this week, but plus 600 for a top 10. I really love that value. He's playing extremely well with his ball striking. Over his last 12 rounds in 3 tournaments, he's gaining 1.87 strokes with his ball striking. He's absolutely hitting the crap out of it. Now, we know the short game is always going to be like hit or miss. I wouldn't say it's necessarily bad with Keith Mitchell. It's just kind of hit or miss. Like, he has really bad weeks and he has a decent week. And that's just kind of how it is. And you kind of have to just hope that for the best when it comes to that. But over his last 3 starts, they've all been top 20. He was T9 at the Cognizant. He also has decent recent history at the Players, T35 and T13 in his last 2 starts here. But I think he's striking the ball even better than he was over the past 2 years. And even with the inconsistency, like I said, coming into this, I'm all about ball strikers. I think EPC Sawgrass is basically ball strikers only. I texted you that in all caps, or not texted you, but messaged you that all caps. And I think Keith Mitchell kind of personifies that with the form he's in right now. So I think this is great value for a top 10.
Kashmir Keith. Green on the Greens darling this season. We have both gone to Kashmir Keith a couple times. I just want to clarify the earlier stat that I said about tee times. It's 14 of the last 16 winners at the Players have an AM PM tee time. So I was right earlier. Early on Thursday, late on Friday. Does that mean anything? Probably not, but we'll keep an eye on that. All right, top 10 for me. We're investing in some Hogecoin this week, my friends.
Let's go.
Tom Hoge, plus 550 to finish in the top 10. I see that Buffalo Dan in the chat, before I even said it, he already said Tom Hoge top 20 is his only bet so far. I'm getting even a little bit more aggressive there, Buffalo Dan. I'm going to go Hoge top 10. We're investing in some Hogecoin this week. He led the field last week in strokes gained approach at the Arnold Palmer Invitational. His putter completely let him down, which is completely unusual for him. He gained strokes putting, I think, in 4 or 5 straight events heading into this past week. If his putter, stayed consistent, I think he could have been in contention on Sunday. Probably wouldn't have beat Scheffler, but at least would have been in contention. He gained 2.37 strokes on the field with his irons. And now he returns to TPC Sawgrass, where he finished T3 here last year. So T3 finished last year. So course history. Great iron play last week. Usually his putter is good, and you can get him plus 550 top 10. I bet on him outright as well. I forget the price. I think 66 to 1 to win outright, but now I think I'm even seeing there's a 70 to 1 out there. So he is my first outright pick. He's also a top 10 pick for me at plus 550. Hogecoin to the moon this week.
And you already know I'm in on this one. That's, not only did you have one of my top 10 plays that I put in here, but Hoge was my backup, and you already had him as your top 10. So had to go to Keith Mitchell after that. But again, still confident in Mitchell, but I really love the Tom Hoge pick. If you want to, let's just call him Tom Hoge. It's not Tom Hoge anymore.
If there is a bit of a long shot that wins this week, I think it's going to be him. So there you go. Let's move on to top 5. You got a former champ in a top 5.
Absolutely. And I think he's, outside of the Genesis, Justin Thomas this year has just been absolutely awesome. And he's plus 450 for a top 5 this week. And when you look at what he's done this year, outside of the Genesis, T12 is his worst finish. He'd had that last week, and there was another T12 in his run in 2024 so far. But he's had, I think it's 5 tournaments now, and 4 out of 5, he's been top 12. He's just been absolutely striking the ball phenomenally. He's gained 2.3 strokes on the field in every tournament except for the Genesis in 2024, and he's gained around the green and off the tee in those tournaments as well. His driving accuracy is the one thing that really gives me any pause about picking him this week, just because he can get a little erratic with the drive. That's just kind of JT's thing. It's what bit him at the Genesis at Riviera, because that's a place that's really penal when you're playing out of the rough. But I do think that when you look at JT's DNA, he's a shot maker, and that's why he was able to win the PGA Championship, and that's twice, and that's why he's had success in some big field events. This is a course that demands shot making. It demands finding the right position and making shots from those positions. And I think that's JT's DNA. I think he contends to win this week, but I think going for a top 5, I'm really confident in that.
Yeah, you mentioned driving accuracy. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but when he won in 2021, I think he almost put it in the water on the 72nd hole.
Oh yeah,
it like was heading there, and then it somehow kicked right instead of left and stayed in the fairway, ended up winning. But because I think I bet on
Cam Smith the next year when he won it, had the exact same thing. He hit it in the pine straw off of that, and then almost put it in the water.
Yeah. So yeah, driving accuracy, if there is one thing to be afraid of when betting on JT, it is driving accuracy at times. But yeah, former winner of this event, certainly a shot maker. His style of play fits his course well. Great form. No arguments for me on Justin Thomas this week. Top 5. I think top 5 is probably the way to go.
Yeah.
All right, my top 5 is a guy who some say won it in 2020, even though it didn't actually happen. Tied the course record in 2020 in round 1. It was then canceled. If people forget, this is the tournament where COVID hit the world by storm. And there's one round of the players, and this guy set the course record. He had a 2-stroke lead, and then they canceled the event. And he hasn't won it. So I think this year, I think he might contend. Winner already this season, Hideki Matsuyama, plus 550 to finish in the top 5. This was your other top 10 bet that you wanted to go that I vetoed on.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, solid course history. He finished solo 5th here last season, so did well here last year. Like I said, tied the course record in the first round in 2020. Would he have held on for the win? I mean, probably not, but maybe. But he did at least tie the course record. So he has the course history that we're looking for. And we're getting some decent odds on a guy who has gone T22 1 and then T12 his last 3 starts. So Hideki Matsuyama is actually quietly, maybe not so much quietly, at least from a betting standpoint, is playing some good golf. Like I would expect Hideki Matsuyama coming off a T22, a win and a T12 would be at much shorter odds than he is. And the most promising part of his game is that he's gaining strokes putting. 3 straight events. In those 3 starts, he has gained strokes putting in all 3. And we've always said if Hideki could putt, he'll win these events. He's kind of like now like a lesser version of Scotty Scheffler. So now, much like Scotty, the putting is there. And he should be in contention once again this week, especially at a course that he's had some solid history at in the past. So I'll go Hideki Matsuyama, top 5. I'm also betting on him to win outright. I believe I got him at 35 to 1. I'm seeing a 40 to 1 out there available right now. So I guess I didn't get him at a good price. You can get him at an even better price now. Hideki Matsuyama.
Absolutely love it. I mean, the numbers over his past 8 and 12 rounds are just, I mean, he's playing phenomenal golf. I think it's like over 1.5 strokes with ball striking and then 1.2 something with his short game. Like he has everything dialed in right now. And obviously, like you said, this is a place where when he's on, it absolutely suits everything he does well.
Yeah. Now, before we get to our picks to win, I do want to shout out Kyle in the chat who did mention Cousins to the Falcons, all because of you. Yes, this is a golf show. But I'm not going to waste an opportunity to victory lap. I talked to Kirk Cousins in January. I told him to sign with the Falcons. I pleaded my case, and he signed with the Falcons. So thank you, Kyle. You're right. It was all because of me. And to be honest, I should be getting a little portion of his contract, to be fair.
I mean,
I don't think that's asking too much. I think the Falcons should toss me, a $500,000 bonus.
Oh, give it a cool meal. I mean, with what he's being paid, he's not even going to realize it's gone.
Right, exactly. All right, back to golf. Our pick to win the 2024 Players Championship.
I'm going with Will Zalatoris, man. Your BFF, your best friend, and it's 33 to 1, but I absolutely love the way this guy's playing. The one thing that gives me pause, you talk about course history being important. He really hasn't played well at the Players, which actually surprised me a little bit. But when I thought about it, The one thing with Will Zalatoris that's always kind of hampered him has been his driving accuracy. He can get a little erratic with the driver as well. He's dialed that in this year. When we watched him last week at the API, he was taking driver out, and the commentary was like, "I can't believe he's taking driver out in this hole." But that shows me a player who's really confident, and like he finished T4 at the API, so it obviously worked out for him. And he's driving the ball really accurately, but his tee to green game is all the way back. He's gaining 1.7 strokes tee to green over his last 16 rounds. He's also gaining with the putter. That long putter is the secret sauce. This is also kind of a Scotty Scheffler light type of thing. Like if Will Zalatoris learned how to putt, we wonder how many wins he'd already have in his PGA Tour career right now. Well, he's putting very well with that long putter, with the driving accuracy, with T2 and T4 and the two signature events that he's played in this year. I think he is trending to assert his dominance, I guess is probably the way I would say it, back on the PGA Tour and win a big boy event. This is a big boy event. I think he's being undervalued in the odds market with the way he's playing, and I think this is his time to really come out and win a big one.
Yeah, I don't completely disagree. Especially driving accuracy, above average driving accuracy now 3 straight events, gaining strokes putting. The course history does concern me, and I just personally, and this is why actually when he was leading at one point, I think was it on Saturday he was leading, I was kicking myself for not betting on him because I would rather bet on him events that are tough courses. That's usually where he thrives, where it's less of a birdie fest and more of like surviving and saving, pars, which is why on Saturday it's like, why do they not bet Will Zalatoris? This is an obvious course fit for him. Obviously he didn't go on to win. And the Players' Championship, I don't think is just quite that. I mean, it's not the easiest course in the world. I don't know if I'd call it a birdie fest, but it's not, it's not a Bay Hill. It's not one of those, super tough courses. So that makes me lean away from Will a little bit.
So the one thing I will say about the Players' Championship last year at TPC Sawgrass, do you know how many holes averaged under par?
No.
It was 5. Wow. And that was the 4 par 5s and the 12th, which is the short par 4.
Okay.
And those are and so when I look at the DNA of Will Zalatoris, it's taking advantage of those par 5s, but also, like you said, the tough golf courses, not making bogeys and taking his medicine when he needs to. Like he's an underratedly smart golfer. And so I think at a place where we tip, yes, the scores might get a little lower than they would at the Arnold Palmer or anything like that, but I do think that it is a course that demands that type of test. And you look at past winners, like we've seen Rory McIlroy, Justin Thomas, Cam Smith, and Scotty Scheffler win in the past 4 years. So I do think that Will Zalatoris kind of fits that bill of big hitters only. So I think getting him at 33-1, that's a lot of value there. He was at 20. He opened at 25-1. His odds got worse since yesterday, and I don't understand that at all.
Yep, I agree with that. I'm not going to argue with him at 33-1. General question before I give out my winner here. Buffalo Dan says, general question: what resources do you use to research your picks? Any good websites or models that you use? If you're looking for free stats, I mean PGA Tour, of all the major leagues in terms of stats resources, PGA Tour's website is fantastic. I use datagolf.com to kind of dive into things a little bit further. It is a subscription for Data Golf, and it's a bit of a hefty price, to be completely honest. But if you want to really dive into, the nitty gritty of these stats, I like Data Golf personally. But you can just look up stats on PGA Tour's website, has a ton of great stats, and obviously that's free.
Yeah, I use Data Golf a little bit, but I do not have the paid subscription. I do have a subscription to rickrungood.com. A lot of the strokes gain data, and you can build your own models there with your own weighted and stuff like that. And it's relatively reasonable. I think it's $7 a week, I think is what the price I pay. So totally worth it.
There you go. All right, my pick to win. You can make fun of me all you want. I'm not going to be the idiot on Sunday not holding a Scotty Scheffler ticket.
Okay.
It's square. He's the favorite. I know this is not exciting. You're watching a golf show for some dark horse picks, and I'm giving out a plus 550 favorite. But what have we been saying? The moment Scotty Scheffler finds his putter, it's game over for the rest of the tour. And he found his putter last week. Now, is that going to be a 1 week sample size and he goes back to losing strokes on the green this week? Possibly. And if that happens, then I'll lose this bet. But I'm not going to be the idiot that's sitting there on Sunday without a Scotty Scheffler ticket when he wins by 5 strokes again, which he won by 5 strokes. Not only last week, he won by 5 strokes. He won by 5 strokes. The Players' Championship last year, he won by 5 strokes. So he got course history. He's a defending champ. He ran away with it last week. He's still ball striking at an unbelievable level. He gained over a stroke putting this past week per round. What do you want from me? I know it's plus 550, but I actually think his odds should be even shorter.
Yeah. If we're talking about trends, do you know the trends about defending champions at the Players?
Probably not good because I don't even know the last time there's been a back-to-back.
There hasn't been. That's the trend. There has never been a back-to-back winner at the Players. That's a stat I heard this morning listening to a podcast, and I was like, oh, okay. So Scotty Scheffler at 550. But if someone was going to break that trend, it's Scotty Scheffler playing the way he currently is. Like,
Because
let's
he
be
does great
completely
at
honest.
courses that he's won at before. I mean,
Exactly.
last
Yeah.
year, that was the second time he's won the Arnold Palmer. Like, he wins events back-to-back years.
Yeah.
I know Arnold Palmer
100%. When he gets on a heater, he's hot. You know, I mean, and like his hot is I'm winning everything I look at.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know it's a bit of a cop-out, but I do genuinely think +5. If Scotty Scheffler can continue putting at this level, +550, we're going to be looking at it in like 3 weeks, and he's going to be like 3-1 to win these events. Like, if he can keep putting this well, might be unbeatable.
I mean, even with the putting woes, I saw another stat today that absolutely blew my mind. The last over par round that Scotty Scheffler shot on the PGA Tour was August 26th of last year.
Yeah.
That's absurd. And that's when he couldn't putt. And now it seems like he may have figured something out with the putter. So yeah, watch out, PGA Tour.
Here's how he finished dating back to August 20th. Because he finished T31 at the FedEx St. Jude. Like, the idea of him finishing T31 at an event seems impossible. Since then, he's gone T2, T6, win, T5, T17, T6, T3, T10, win. Like, it's unbelievable.
Oh yeah. He is the best golfer in the world, and it's not really close right now.
Yeah. And I did use a boost. It's not DraftKings. I used a boost on a different website, and I think it got brought up to like +680 or something. So still not crazy, but didn't Prime Tiger get down to around even money? Yeah, I think at times he was pretty close to even money at a couple of events.
If I'm not mistaken, there was one tournament, and I think it was like a limited field thing where he was minus money. Like, it was like minus 120 that he was going to win.
Right. And now, if we're at the Masters, I'm not betting a Scotty Scheffler +550 because let's call it like it is. John Rahm's not here. Cam Smith's not here. Brooks Koepka's not here. Even Joaquin Niemann, who's been playing some great golf lately, not here. Like, even though this is the Players,
Taylor Gooch isn't here, man.
Taylor Gooch is not here. Yeah, +550 with a field where it's like Rory and then like maybe JT if he plays his best, and then like I don't see anyone who can even at their best compete with Scheffler if he's at his best. So
no, 100%.
It is what it is. It's a bit of a cop-out, but it is what it is. I'll take Scheffler +550.
I like it. I mean, there's no reason to, other than the trend of past winners not defending their title, there's no other, and I'm not a big trends guy. So like, that's not something I would ever base my pick off of.
Yeah. All right. Close to the win. I don't think I mentioned it earlier. I did get the win for close to the win last week. I believe I'm up 3-1. Both of our players did make the cut at the Arnold Palmer. I took Patrick Rogers and he finished, I think, just outside the top 20. Continues to be T25. I've been crushing these close to the wins.
You have.
You had Taylor Moore, who did make the cut, and I think even going into the weekend, I think he had the lead on me.
He had a 2-stroke lead going into Sunday, and then he just absolutely collapsed on Sunday.
4 over on Sunday. So he finished T48. But still, both made the cut. So I do have a 3-1 lead and close to the win. Who are you going with this week?
I'm going with Doug Gim, and frankly, I like him for a top 20. It was between him and Novak for a top 20, and the other one was going to be my closest to the win play. But Doug Gim, I mean, the way he's playing golf right now is absolutely phenomenal. He's 1.3 strokes gained ball striking over his last 16 rounds, 0.48 strokes gained putting over that span, hitting over 71% of his fairways over that span as well. He's in over that span, he's T16 or better over his last 4 starts. He also finished T6 here in 2022, so he's played well here. It really rewards ball striking, and with the way he's striking it now, I think he's actually due for a pretty damn good week.
Yeah. Love this pick. I don't expect to win this week. I think he is by far, if you're looking at golfers 100-1 odds or longer, I think he's by far the best selection. So I'm not going to say I'm punting this week, but I made my pick's a little bit of a fun pick.
Okay.
TPC Lee. KH
Oh,
Lee.
let's go. I love it.
He's named TPC Lee for a reason because he crushes it at TPC courses. Actually, not this one, ironically enough. So even though I'm calling him TPC Lee, he actually doesn't have a good course history at this event. But he has played some decent golf. He's actually coming off a T4 finish at, was it the Cognizant? Let me look it up. Was it the Cognizant T4? T4 finish at the Cognizant. So he has played some decent golf lately. And that was in his last start. And he gained strokes in all 4 areas. T25 earlier this season at the American Express. He does generally do well at TPC courses. This is, of course, a TPC course. He has 2 wins at TPC. It's a Byron Nelson. What's that TPC?
Craig Ranch.
Craig Ranch. Yeah, something like that. And he does generally do well at TPC. Hasn't translated to the players at TPC Sawgrass yet. He missed the cut last year and then 55th and 41st the 2 years previous to that. But I just love seeing TPC Lee. So I'll go KH Lee's 200-1.
I mean, you can say you're punting this week, but with how my picks have been going, we know that Doug Gim is going to make like a 20 on his on the 17th hole, and he's going to miss the cut. Like that's just how my year has gone.
All right, so there are our picks. No, there's no alternate field event this week. There's no LPGA this week. LPGA is back next week. So just to recap, actually, why don't you just go ahead and recap your picks for this week, and then I'll do mine.
For sure. So top 20, Andrew Novak. Top 10, Keith Mitchell, Cashmere Keith, our fave. Top 5, Justin Thomas. Winner, Will Zalatoris. And closest to the win, Doug Gim.
And I got top 20, Wyndham Clark, plus 150. Top 10, Tom Hoagie. We're investing in some Hogecoin at plus 550. Hideki Matsuyama, top 5, plus 550. Winner, Scotty Scheffler, plus 550. Just realized those 3 picks are all plus 550. And closest to the win, TPC, KH Lee, 200-1.
Oh, yeah. It's hilarious that your outright pick has the same odds as your top 5 and top 10 picks.
So there you have it. Should be a fun event. Does someone ace the 17th hole this week?
Absolutely. Always. Always yes.
We're gonna bet the yes on that just for fun.
That's with no LPGA, that's the squad ride.
Yeah, squad ride is yes for a hole-in-one, specifically on the 17th, if you can find that specific prop bet. I don't have the odds in front of me, but that's going to be the squad ride. Next week, we got the Valspar Championship. Kind of a sneaky fun event, to be completely honest. I like Copperhead course.
That's a tough golf course, man. I watch it every year, and I'm just like, oh my God, I would lose so many balls in the water. It's not even funny.
Yeah. Oh, you know what we're missing this week, which I think is usually this month, is match play.
Yep. We are. I had forgotten that there was no match play event, and then I was looking at some data from last year, on the website, and a bunch of match play stuff started popping for March, and I was like, oh man, this is tough.
Yeah, I miss it. So yeah, Valspar next week, and then Texas for 2 weeks, and then the Masters. Yeah, almost exactly a month away from the Masters. So look forward to that. All right, follow Cody on Twitter at TheSizzle20. Follow me at Iain MacBets. Let us know in the comments your best bet to win the Players' Championship this week. Good luck. Gamble or bless. And we'll talk to you all next week.
We'll see you.